We would like to thank everybody for obviously coming out today. It's a rainy day, but a great day to be in the Nutter Indoor Center celebrating a great day in Kentucky football. We're extremely excited today to have a chance to begin fresh and have new beginnings. And I'd like to thank a few folks before we get started, and just to say thank you to our university and the administration and our staff and the folks that have worked diligently in the last 3 or 4 weeks to help put this day together. First off, I want to thank Dr. Capilouto and Mary Lynn for their unbelievable support of athletics and what we try and get done here to represent the University of Kentucky. Been instrumental in helping us move the needle on things that we need to do athletically is the chairman of the Board of Trustees, Britt Brockman, and the chairman of the subcommittee for athletics, T.B. Aikens. So to the two of you, thank you very, very much for what you do for us. You go through times like this and you have a lot of people behind the scenes that put together events in short notice, and this was put together in short notice. We thought about it, but clearly you have elements you deal with, and so we're all inside here today, and our staff has done a remarkable job. I thank them very, very much for what they've done. I had several of my staff that helped me through this process, and we had a great friend of the program in Tim Couch, and I'd like to thank Tim. I'm not sure where he is right now, but I'd like to thank him. It is a chance for new beginnings. It's an opportunity for us to begin to hope and to believe that our program moves forward and gets us a chance to participate in a game that occurred in Atlanta last night. Those are the hopes and dreams of our players and our coaches and our fans, and that's what we want to achieve as well. With that, that's you can cheer for that. Having said that, we're bringing a man into our program today that participated in one of those championship games last night. I think they did okay. Congratulations to him. With that, we want to welcome Chantel and Zach and Will to Kentucky. This is their first time here, and big plane ride today, and we fed them well. They're about ready to crash on us, but they're doing great. We'd like to welcome you all to Kentucky. It's great to have them with us. We've got the greatest fans in all of college sports and the most passionate fan base around, and you deserve a football program that competes at a championship level, and that's what we've hired this guy to do. And we want him to help get us to Atlanta and to pursue SEC championships and play on New Year's Day. Those are the things that all football programs dream of. We dream of that for our players, we dream of that for our fans, and we want to support those efforts to get that done. And so it is with great pleasure today that I introduce the head football coach at the University of Kentucky, Mark Stoops.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So this is what the Big Blue Nation is all about right here. I've been hearing a lot about it, and I appreciate you being here. It's a great honor for me to be the head football coach at the University of Kentucky. I'd like to recognize my wife, Chantel, and the boys. Appreciate them being here. As you know, she's the head coach at home. I'd like to thank Dr. Capilouto and the Board of Trustees for the faith and confidence they have in me being their coach, so I appreciate that, Doc. I'd like to thank Mitch Barnhart. He's been tremendous through this whole process. Very upfront, honest. We've had great talks, and it seemed like each and every time we talked, I had a stronger and stronger feeling about UK, and I just really appreciate the way Mitch went about this whole process, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize the people that helped Mitch through this process: John Kropp, Dwayne Peavy, Tim Couch, and Mark Hill. Thank you, guys. To all the past and current players that are here today, I appreciate you being here. I look forward to meeting all the past players, and I look forward to getting to work with all you current players here very soon. So I appreciate it. Look forward to meeting you tomorrow morning. I'd like to thank Coach Fisher, the administration, and the players at Florida State. It's been a tremendous 3 years for me there. I really liked the way it went out last night. Obviously, they're a special group, and felt very good, and wanted to leave on the right note, and just wanted you all to feel the confidence in your new head football coach and go out with a win and win a championship. So I appreciate the way things went last night, and I really appreciate all the people at Florida State. I'd like to wrap up the thank yous, just talking about my family. My mother, of course, has been to many football games, as you all know. My brothers and sisters, grew up in a coaching family. Really wanted to thank my father, who's no longer with us, but a big part of who I am comes from how I grew up and with my father. He was a high school coach for over 30 years, a tremendous person, and I think that's where I started preparing to get to this position where I'm at right now, is those days and those nights spending time with my father at Cardinal Mooney. It's been many nights when I've been sitting at the kitchen table eating my dinner and watching my father watch film and using the refrigerator as his canvas. And so I think that's a big part of who I am. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be your football coach.
All right.
I'm highly motivated to build this program to national prominence.
All right.
There will be no magic wand to getting this done. We're going to do it with very much of a blue-collar mentality. We're going to go to work each and every day. We're going to be accountable and dependable in what we do. Our players are going to have tremendous character, and we're going to win in the institution, and we're going to win with a lot of class.
All right.
The one thing that I ask you to do, I ask the Big Blue Nation to fill Commonwealth Stadium each and every week.
Our next speaker is our university president, Dr. Eli Capilouto.
Coach, excuse my voice. Many have attributed my hoarseness to a bad cold. The truth is, I've spent my week auditioning to be a member of the fastest growing student group, Stoops Troops. I want a first edition t-shirt, by the way. I want to welcome you to the Big Blue Nation. It is a family. My wife and I have been here just 18 months. But it's this nation, this family, that makes us feel like we've been here forever. It's why my wife squeezes my hand when they play my old Kentucky home. We are here for you, and we are here for your family. Your family is our family. Coach, you'll never have a better boss than Mitch Barnhart. He's a value-driven professional who, like the rest of this campus, ensures what we do with class and integrity. You will also never know a more committed and wise board of trustees. We are a Big Blue Nation united. We are here because we put students first. They are the focus of everything we do. And it's been that way for nearly 150 years. Today, we again celebrate. We do it with you, Coach. It's a Big Blue Nation united with a goal of being the first choice for students as they compete in the classroom and on the field. We're also a first choice for discovery and service so that we can make a difference in those communities across our state. We're first choice for cutting-edge education because of a world-class faculty. And increasingly, we're going to give our students and our faculty living, learning, and discovery facilities that they need to maximize our potential. Today underscores that commitment to student athletes and to our university. We're building upon a strong foundation and investing in long-term success of our football program. That success, in turn, means so much to the rest of our athletic program and to our university. UK Athletics is one of a handful of programs in the country that gives back to the academic mission of this institution. A successful football program is key. I am convinced we have a gentleman in Mark Stoops that can build on our success. And speaking with Coach Stoops, you feel in a minute that he's a difference maker. He's the real deal. He is of character and will build character in our student athletes. And I hope you noticed last night at the conclusion of their game how his players gathered around him with deep respect and affection. With Coach Stoops joining the Big Blue Nation, we are demonstrating our commitment to football and our student athletes.
All right.
We are committed to the long term in football. We are committed to investing in its success, which will ensure the financial success of the most comprehensive athletics program in the SEC, an athletics program that commits millions of dollars a year to academic scholarships and university programs. We will be talking more in the very near future about that commitment too, and our specific plans for sustained investments in education, research, and athletics. Investments that will underscore our attention to chart our destiny. A first choice for students and faculty, first choice for research and service. As we move forward with our plans to rebuild all facets of our campus, it's important that our fans, friends, and alumni understand that this is an effort in partnership across the university and with our friends in the General Assembly. With the guidance and leadership of our Board of Trustees, we will define plans on how we fund multiple projects with our own dollars. We need the authorization of the legislature to proceed. We will need everybody's help in getting that approval. But today, our focus is on Coach Stoops and his family. They are joining the Big Blue family, a Big Blue Nation united behind them. Thank you, Coach.
At this time, we'll begin the news conference, and we'll be taking questions from the media. We'd ask that you raise your hands so we can get you a wireless microphone so that we can, so everyone can hear the question. So if get your hands up, we'll get a wireless to you.
Coach, when you made this decision to come to Kentucky, you said you can bring the program to a national prominence. It's really not been there in a long time. What makes you think at Kentucky you can bring it to a national prominence?
Well, Kentucky's had success, and the key will be to build on that success and be consistent with it and take it to another level. I believe I can bring a strong staff that will help and build in recruiting. I believe in this administration and the commitment that they're willing to make to the football program. And, so with the recruiting, quality staff, development, develop the players that are here, that we can take it to another level.
Coach, during this process, as you were weighing the options, how much did you talk to your brothers, and what would your father say to you at this very moment? What advice?
My father would tell me to follow my heart and do what I believed, was right for myself and my family. And visited with my brothers about it from time to time. Not a ton. We've had a few conversations, but to me it was a no-brainer. I was excited and anxious for the job. I wanted to be here. I believe in this program, and like I said, we're chomping at the bit and ready to go. And I feel like we have a good group of staff that's willing to come. So it was an easy decision for me.
Coach Stoops, to your left, welcome to Lexington.
Thank you.
Everybody in this room, believe it or not, even the media wants you to succeed.
Thank you.
Can you explain what you need to do to change a losing culture, which is what this is, and turn it into a winning culture, which will make all True Blue fans happy?
Well, first of all, we're going to embrace the process. We're going to attack each and every day. What I'm worried about right now is meeting with our players tomorrow morning, and we're looking forward to going ahead. Really not interested in what happened before. We will embrace the past.
All right.
We will embrace all the past great players and the past teams, but we're worried about going forward, and we're going to do that by, again, it's a process. We're not too worried about the results right now. We're worried about the process, and that's getting my message to the players tomorrow morning, and then from there getting out and putting together a quality staff and moving forward.
Coach, when you talk about that you feel you can bring a good staff to Kentucky, could you just kind of update us on maybe what your plans are and kind of how that is going to come together?
The plans, I'm planning on going out and interviewing a few offensive coordinators here real soon. I've been in conversations and feel real good about the prospects for the offensive coordinator. And so I'm going to head out on the road and talk to a few people and put together the offensive staff first. I feel very good about the defensive staff. I feel like I have my defensive coordinator targeted and on board and ready to come. And so from there, it'll really concentrate on the offense. I realize with my background in defense that the offensive staff and the offensive coordinator will be critical to our success. So that's priority for me right now.
Mark, speaking of the offense, I think you're a defensive guy. I think maybe the big question in this room is what kind of offense do you want to run here?
Yeah, we're going to have an offense that you guys are going to enjoy. I promise you that. Where's Tim Couch at? Is he around here? Hey Tim, we're going to have an offense that you're going to be proud of. We're going to get out there and rip it around a little bit. We're going to throw it, but you have to be creative. I'm a defensive guy. This is the SEC. It's a very physical conference, and I realize that. And I want to be tough, and I want to be physical. And we have to build this foundation with great defense. There's no way around it. If you don't play great defense, you're not going to. But with the offense, again, I want somebody that has a plan, that's been successful, and we have to be creative. We will have a physical presence about us, but we will spread it out, and we'll use some bells and whistles to get the run game going and again, be a little bit creative.
Coach, right here, there are, in the middle here.
Where are you at? Okay, sorry.
There were a lot of openings across the country and several other ones also here in the SEC. Mm-hmm. What specifically drew you to Kentucky? Made this one more attractive than anything else?
The Big Blue Nation. I feel very good about Kentucky. Again, I just felt very comfortable visiting with Mr. Barnhart. I feel very confident in Dr. Capilouto and the Board of Trustees and their commitment to taking football to another level. We have everything we need to be successful here. And sure, we want to improve on a few things here and there, but we have what it takes right now to be successful. You know, it's our job to coach them, to put them in the right position, to recruit, and to develop this program and turn them into a consistent winner.
Could you talk about what role Tim Couch had in this process and how you know Tim and so forth?
Had a chance to visit with Tim on the phone a few times. He was involved in one of the interviews, and you know, I understand the impact that Tim has on this university. And again, I want to lean on Tim and visit with him about some ideas, you know, because he's been around football, and I just enjoyed talking to him on the phone.
Coach, back here, you talked about having what it takes and having what you need to win here, but what kind of conversations have you had about moving forward, about facility development and things like that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
You talked about the fact that you believe you have what it takes to win here. Can you tell us, though, about any conversations you and Mitch might have had about facilities in the future?
That's really not for me to discuss. That's for Dr. Capilouto and Mitch Barnhart to discuss. I know there's a process going on right now that they're working through, so I think I'd like to refer that to them.
Yeah, you know, I'm fine. We've been working in concert with the university on facility plans and on a lot of fronts. And Dr. Capilouto and the trustees have been tremendous about working through all those details. And obviously, as Dr. Capilouto referred to in his remarks, there are pieces that will have to happen for us to have authority at the legislative level. We're working through that. We want to do it in concert with what is best for the university. Clearly, it's an important part of our program in moving football forward. So I think everyone's aware of that. Hopefully we'll be able to move on that and get some more information out on that soon.
So Mark, if you could talk a little bit more about the interview process. You took the job then sight unseen, and what did you know about Kentucky?
Yeah, Mr. Barnhart and I met just over 3 weeks ago. It came at a perfect time. We had a Thursday game, and so I was free on a Saturday. It was just after the position came open, or shortly after that, and we had a chance to meet and go into great detail about Kentucky, about what my plans were, and so we talked at length that particular day, and then we've had ongoing conversations since then. And again, had conversations with a group of people that I mentioned earlier on the phone, with a conference call, and so that's kind of how the timeline went.
Mark, could you elaborate on that a little bit? During the interview process, what was your sales pitch to Mitch and company that you don't need to look any farther than Mark
Well,
Stoops?
I don't know if it's a sale. I don't know if there is a sales pitch. You know, I'm very much, you know, I am who I am. I think, you know, you'll get to know me as we go forward. But you know, it's all about recruiting, developing the players that you have, and developing them as total people. And you know, that's what I'm all about doing things right. But there's no, you know, I'm very much of a meat and potatoes kind of guy. You know, I have a plan, and we have a vision, but there's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of consistency in what we do.
Over here, Coach. What do you see as your biggest challenge going forward here?
I'm sorry, we're
over here.
okay. Sorry.
What do you see as your biggest challenge going forward here?
Well, it's a tough conference. You know, you have to be physical, and so you know, I think it's of great importance that we develop our strength, and to be able to compete at this level, we have to go out and recruit, and you've got to recruit each and every day, each and every year, to keep on building your program.
Mark, just to clarify, had you been on campus before the last couple days or today? And if not, what have people in the coaching game, friends of yours, told you about Kentucky football?
I had not been on campus, but yes, I have had friends and people that were here just this past summer, and just discussed it with them. But no, I had not been on campus.
Coach, from a recruiting standpoint, what areas do you plan on targeting? I know you got Florida and Ohio background.
Kentucky, obviously, you know, we're going to recruit Kentucky hard and take care of our home. We're going to recruit Ohio very hard. I have strong ties in Ohio, and there's very good football players in Ohio. We'll work through the Carolinas, into Georgia, and in Florida a little bit.
Mitch, I'm over here. Mitch, on your right. There was another question about this. I want to just clarify. Did you make some specific commitments to Coach Stoops about improvements in facilities in terms of recruiting him? You say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, or try to do X, Y, and Z?
They've been plans we've been working on for a decade, to be real honest with you. So it's nothing that's new. It's something that we've wanted to work on and do some things in terms of facilities in general. We came here, our facility package as an athletic department was probably not where it needed to be to compete in the SEC in most of the sports that we've got. And we've systematically taken them piece by piece and been able to, one way or another, find ways to improve our facilities. There's a couple major ones out there left for us to figure out. Obviously, Commonwealth Stadium is on everybody's heart and mind, and we pay attention to that every day, and that's something we've been doing for quite a while. Dr. Capilouto has been very, very honest and very forthright with us, explaining how he understands the things we need to do to get better. So is there a specific timeline? No. But I would say that we're working on it sooner rather than later, and that's where we are. We can't, all we can do is go to work every day and try and find a way to make progress on it. The other one obviously is baseball for us, and that's a concern as well, and we've got to work our way through that. The other ones, we're trying to work our way through the normal processes that we've been doing for the last period of time. But specifically, obviously, football is on everybody's mind. That's what we've got to pay attention to.
The football coaching staff here had a Royals Award finalist, Mike Summers. Are there any of those guys that are here or leaving that you would consider at all to retain?
Yeah, absolutely. You consider them, and I have not had a chance to visit with the coaches yet, and I will, and absolutely you would consider them.
Coach, over the past few years, there's been kind of an influx of defensive philosophies. We went from the 4-3 to a weird 3-3-5 stack. Is there a certain type of scheme that you feel UK can succeed in moving forward?
Well, I think, yes, we'll be very defined in what we do now, defensively moving forward. We'll play with 4 down. We'll be 4-3 personnel, and of course, we'll be very multiple from there. But again, I have a very clear vision of what we want to do defensively. Our players will know after the first spring exactly who we are and what we're all about. So we'll start there and lay that foundation and build from there.
Coach, in the back, as I understand, there are a lot of current players here and you haven't got to meet with them yet. Could you tell us what message you're going to tell them tomorrow morning, just a little bit of what you're going to tell them about this upcoming season?
Well, I'm going to tell them to look forward to it. You know, a lot of coaches take these positions and try to scare them and tell them how hard it's going to be. It's going to be hard. There's no way around that. We're going to work hard. We're going to train hard. We're going to do things right. They're going to be accountable and they're going to be dependable. And there's just no other way around that to be successful. But I'm going to enjoy coaching them. They're going to enjoy playing for us. They're going to enjoy being a part of this Kentucky family, and they're going to hold their heads high walking around this campus.
All right.
Mark, the recruits that have already verbally committed to Kentucky, how do they factor into your future plans, and kind of what do you hope to accomplish in recruiting?
Well, we need to make sure they're going to fit our system. It would be unfair to them if we took their commitment and didn't fit what we're going to do. So we have to evaluate and work our way through that process.
Coach Stoops, back here in the back here. What was your reaction when you arrived at the airport, when you arrived here today, and you saw all these people here to greet you?
I felt like it was game day in a way, you know. It started, it's exciting. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I look forward to working for you. And, you know, it's just an exciting time for myself and my family. We're really anxious to get going. And we understand it's going to be a great challenge, but that's what we embrace. You know, embrace the process. But the fan support and the people, everybody's been terrific, and we really appreciate that.
Mark, the one concern we've heard among the fan base is he doesn't have any head coaching experience. Is that a legit concern? How do you compensate for that?
I understand that. Yeah, you know, that's goes with the territory. I've been successful. If you look at where I've been, I feel pretty good about each and every place I've been. We've been successful, so I don't plan on that stopping now.
Got a new quarterback.
Mark, you said you've got a defensive coordinator targeted and probably on board to come. I don't know, are there any staff names you want to unveil today? And also, if not, more vaguely, do you expect some of your Florida State brethren to come with you?
I'm not permitted to talk about them right now. They need to go through the hiring procedures and all that. So I just got on campus, so I really rather not discuss any of that. And I really don't want to discuss any Florida State coaches. It's unfair to the players back there at this time.
Coach, over here. I know here we have a pretty good basketball team. Have you been able to talk to Coach Cal any? And how do you plan on working with the basketball team going forward?
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to Coach Cal. I had a great conversation. I had a couple conversations with him and really enjoyed it. I'm going to embrace the tradition in basketball, take our recruits to the games and enjoy it. But I really look forward to working with Coach Cal, and so it'll be good. You know, he's from Pittsburgh. I'm from Youngstown. We're not that far apart.
Mark, did you approach UK, or did you, back here, I'm sorry, way back here by the cameras. Okay. Did you approach UK and Mitch Barnhart, or did Mitch approach you about the job?
Yes, I reached out to Mitch and inquired about the job, yes.
Could you explain why?
I was excited about the opportunity. I thought I answered that earlier, but I'm excited. I'm really excited. I think it's a great opportunity. I believe in Mitch. I believe in Dr. Capilouto. I believe in the vision that we have to get this thing done. We want to be winners, and it's going to take everybody. It's going to take all of you that are out here today. It's going to take the administration. It's going to take coaches. It's going to take players. We're all in this thing together. To win at the level that we want to win at, it's going to take all of us together to get this thing done.
Mark, to your left, you've been described as a player's coach. Is that accurate? And if so, what does that mean?
I'd like to believe so. I take that as a compliment. You know, discipline is never a problem, and you know, generally with defensive coaches, discipline's not a problem, and so I feel very good about the relationships that I have with my players, and yes, I think it is my style to find different ways to motivate players and to get them on board and get them to believe in themselves. I think players all need to be coached differently. They all have different personalities, they have different backgrounds, and it's your job to figure that out and push the right buttons.
Mark, back here, you mentioned winning and level of success, but what is the level of success that you believe that this program can reach?
To play in the SEC championship game. And to win it. Correction, not just play, but play and win.
Coach, back here, what is your perception of the level of talent in the state of Kentucky vis-a-vis other states that you've worked, and is that a concern?
Obviously, there's not probably as many SEC caliber players in Kentucky, but there are some, and it's our job to get out and work hard and to recruit and keep the great ones home, and to take any player that could help us win and take them and develop them and mold them to be winning players for us. So I understand that there's not as many in this state as others, but there are some good ones, and it's our job to keep them home.
For Mr. Barnhart or for Coach Stoops, could you discuss the terms of the contract, which we haven't seen yet, and kind of how you got to those numbers as far as how long it goes?
I'll take that. That's sort of one of the few things I do. So, but we've got a 5-year deal we put together for Mark, and it's roughly the base value is $11 million over the 5 years. That contract will be handed out at the end of the press conference from Tony or the staff over here on the right, and they'll get that squared away for you in terms of there are incentives involved. and which escalate. But the market's changed. It is changing rapidly, and I think we've got to be fiscally smart about the way we do our business. And we're in a very, very competitive environment, and but we wanted to make sure that Mark knew we wanted him here. We wanted to make sure that he knew we were committed to football, and that he has got the resources in terms of dollars to go out and get the staff necessary to get it done. And so that's never been an issue for us. I think there's a misconception out there about that. But we're glad to have him here for not just 5, but a lot longer. If we get this thing going the right way, we're going to have a lot of fun together, and that's what we want to do. We want to make it someplace where the Stoops stay for an awfully long time.
What's your first impression not only of the Big Blue Nation, but also of Lexington, your new home?
It's been fantastic. We did a flyover when we came in this morning, so had a chance to see the whole city. So, but yeah, I've been very impressed. It's a beautiful place. I've heard nothing but great things. Everybody that's come through here and knows the people here just speaks so highly of it, and just been very impressed with the people. And so I'm really looking forward to moving and getting to be a part of the community.
Coach, back here in the back, can you take us through the decision-making process of not coaching Florida State in the bowl and kind of how that came about?
I just think there's too much work to be done. You know, it's hard to be in 2 places at one time. This week alone was extremely challenging. We agreed on Monday evening, so it was a very long and stressful week for myself. And to try to go through that again, I don't think it's right for either side. I'm here, I'm working for you now, and I'm a part of the Big Blue Nation, and that's where I want to be. But there is always a balance there, because you know how I feel about my players, or my past players at Florida State, and you know, the journey that we've been through. So I plan on being here, working full-time for Kentucky, going through the whole process, and then, you know, if I can go back and help around the dead time when the recruiting ends and there's some dead time, I may try to go back and help a little bit with game planning. I'll do whatever I can do to help Florida State win the game, especially if they play Louisville.
Coach, welcome to Kentucky again. What ties do you have to Kentucky, if any, and was that part of your decision in coming here?
Not many ties, but I do now. I have all of you. So not many ties at this point, but that's part of our business, you know, to get in and get to become part of the community, get to know people. So we're really looking forward to that.
Mark, talk about some of the coaches that's really had an influence on you that you've worked under.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. There's been quite a few. You know, I mentioned my father. Of course, that's a big part of who I am and how I grew up. I had the opportunity to go play for Hayden Fry at the University of Iowa, and that was just a tremendous experience as a player and as a graduate assistant coach. I got my start with Hayden Fry, and just a tremendous person. I then went to South Florida, coached for a year under Jim Levitt. Went to Wyoming, coached a few years there under Dana Dimmel. But I'd say, you know, the influence would be, you know, starting with Hayden Fry and my father, and of course my brothers. And then the last 3 years at Florida State, I think it's really gave me a good vision for what I want to do as a head coach, and with some of the structure and the way you know, you structure the organization. So. I've had the pleasure to work with Coach Fisher the last 3 years, and that's also helped me. Of course, you know, my brother Mike and my brother Bob, you know, they're just resources that I'm always going to use. You know, they're people that I lean on each and every day with my brothers. So, you know, we obviously talk and rely on each other.
We have time for a couple more up here, Dan and Matt, and a couple more, and we'll be wrapped up.
Have you had any chance at all to evaluate the current roster or had any impressions of what's already here?
Not too much, really. You know, we agreed to the contract Monday night, and I was a little bit busy trying to stop that triple option last night, so that kept me quite busy. But you know, after we meet a few people here tonight, I'm ready to get to the office and get working right now.
I know you don't want to talk details, and you said Mitch would talk about it at a later date, but did you feel like you had to get some assurances on investment, et cetera, in facilities? Were you okay with how it is now? I mean, how did that play any part?
Well, I think when Mr. Barnhart and I talked at length for a long time, you know, I believed in him, and I believed in what we had here and what we were moving towards. So, you know, I think, you know, that's a big part of it.
Okay, any other media questions? Got time for a couple more. Okay, got Kent there in the back.
Mark, you mentioned Louisville briefly. What are your thoughts? What do you know about that rivalry?
Oh, I know it's a good rivalry, and we're going to embrace that rivalry, and really looking forward to it. I've had some great success in rivalry games, so looking forward to that challenge.
That is last opportunity to talk to Coach Stoops. You got to meet the players, and that's what we're going to get to. So say thank you, Coach Stoops, and Dr. Capilouto, and Mr. Barnhart. Thank you all very much. Appreciate y'all coming. For the media, we will have Tim Couch and Mr. Barnhart available over here for some one-on-ones afterward if you need to speak with those two.